Alright, dumb fucks. It's time for a history lesson. And for Enigma Hood to shed some reality on reality. Only inbred HICKS care about socialism and communism. Now, you're gonna say to me, Enigma Hood, you know, like, I keep hearing these fucking inbred HICKS talking about communism and socialism, and they keep on using it and acting like it's so scary and bad. It actually got me afraid and not liking those things, but I don't even know what the fuck they are. Well, you see, that's their strategy. They keep on saying these things are bad, correlating them with something evil, to the point of where people are afraid of them without even knowing what the fuck they are. So Enigma Hood is going to explain what the fuck they are. What is communism? Communism basically means that the government controls everything. They're going to own everything. And the reason for this is so that they can evenly distribute resources to people who need it the most. So therefore, if you work harder, there is actually no incentive to working harder, because all that additional shit that you're producing, that's going to be redistributed to people who need it more. And in theory, it could work if no one gave a fuck. If people weren't selfish, I should say. The problem is human beings are selfish. So when we think that there is no incentive to work harder, then we don't work harder. And the person who is like a bum, maybe he's just going to sit around and do nothing. He's going to get everything that he needs based on his need. And I mean, the problem is humanity itself. The problem is that human beings are selfish. If we were fucking robots working towards the greater good of the empire, the robot empire, then it's not a big fucking deal, because we don't give a fuck about ourselves. We're going to do what's necessary for the greater good of the whole. If we were like ants, it's the same fucking thing. You don't give a shit about yourself. You do what you need to do in order to do for the greater good of the hive. So what I'm saying is, in the future, when we cast aside our physical bodies, our flesh, bone, shit fucking bodies, and unite as a singular, godlike entity, in the future, then we can implement something that's more similar to communism, because it's actually a lot more efficient than having a system that caters towards selfish motherfuckers. That's communism. Socialism is not nearly as extreme as that. It's basically, you know, kind of in between capitalism and communism. So some institutions are going to be controlled by the government. Institutions that are necessary. Stuff that isn't practical for us to just pay for all the fucking time. Stuff like schools, the fire fucking department, the police fucking department, the post office. Shit like that needs to be controlled by the government, because, I mean, no one wants to fucking pay when your house is burning down. It's like, I have to pay because my house is burning down? Why don't you come over doing it for free, you fucking assholes? Somebody's about to fucking kill me. I call 911 and they say, hey, guess what? You gotta pay in order to not have this guy fucking kill your ass. Guess what? We need to have the government pay for this bullshit. The problem with America is that we are not paying for, we are not socializing healthcare, even though we fucking need to. I mean, hey, guess what? My arm has been chopped the fuck off. I'm bleeding to death. I need somebody to take care of my ass so I don't fucking die. But the problem is the HICKS. The HICKS don't want good things like that to be taken care of by the government. They don't want it socialized. And their best tactic is to demonize the word socialism and say, it's evil, it's evil. And then just keep on saying that, so that people become afraid of it so much, even though, wait a minute, all of, like, the post office is socialized, so is the school system, the public fucking useless school system, and the police department, and all this other bullshit is socialized. Well, no, they ignore that. They never talk about that, because they are too busy demonizing the word socialism. Now, you might be saying, wait a minute, Enigma Hood, wait a minute. I mean, it's not just the fucking inbred HICKS that hate socialism and communism, it's also rich people. Of course rich people are going to be opposing these fucking things, because they are greedy motherfuckers. They have tons of fucking money. They want to keep it all for themselves. What, you think they want to give it to the poor people who need it more? Of course not. They're selfish motherfuckers. Those cocksuckers. They want all the money to themselves, even though they have all the money. That's the problem. With capitalism, you have a small percentage of people owning the vast majority of the wealth. That's the problem with capitalism. And you might be saying, well, Enigma Hood, don't they fucking deserve that shit? And the answer is no, because the problem is that when you have a lot of money, you can make a lot of money. All you have to do, if you have $1 million, all you have to do is just put it in the bank, put it in a CD where you can make some interest, and then you sit on your ass and you do jack shit. And then you make money off of the interest. If you're poor and you only have like $500 in the bank, you can't do jack shit with it. And then you have to pay for just to live. Just to fucking live. You are taking a bigger chunk out of the money you have in order to pay for necessities, and you're probably gonna fucking die. So that's why the rich motherfuckers, who are scumbags, need to be taxed more. Taxed so that their ears are fucking bleeding. And then redistribute that to all the poor motherfuckers like me, and like you. Because I know you're a fucking poor motherfucker, just like all of us, because we are the majority. Rich people aren't watching my fucking videos. Suck my balls. Now, you might be saying, wait a minute, Enigma Hood, you're right. These fucking hicks are dumb as hell. But I don't understand, why are they so fucking stupid? The reason why hicks are so fucking stupid is because they're all inbred. You see, the hicks, they live in the middle of fucking nowhere. And so they are sexually attracted because, like, there's no other humans around. So they're sexually attracted to their fucking siblings. They see their sister and they want to fuck her. So they go like this. They stick their dicks in their fucking pussies like this, and then they fuck until they come in their fucking pussies, and then they produce spawn that's mentally retarded. You see, the problem is, when you're inbreeding like that, the probability of genetic defects to manifest in the phenotype is greatly enhanced exponentially when you fuck your sisters. So do me a favor. I don't care how badly you want to fuck your cum-guzzling sister, don't fucking do it! But that's the problem with these fucking hicks. They keep doing it. The other problem is, of course, since they live in the middle of fucking nowhere, they live in fucking farmlands. And they fuck goats and cows. They can at least get away with that because the goats and cows can't produce fertile offspring. But when they fuck their sisters, they do. But the other problem is, since they live in the middle of nowhere, there are no schools that give them the proper education that they need. I question whether they actually need it. It might be a fucking useless exercise, but they don't have any education there. So that exacerbates the problem. They have like fucking like homeschools and shitty ass schools where they teach them about religion. See, that's the thing. All these fucking hicks, they're like Christian, hardcore Christian, because they believe in fairy tales for adults because they're idiots. They don't know anything about science. Science to them is like fucking voodoo. Science to them is like a mystical, magical thing because they're so fucking stupid. So that exacerbates the problem. They believe in religion and God and Christianity and Jesus Christ and all this other nonsense, and it perverts them, makes them even dumber. Okay. So let's see. What about okay? So we know why rich people and hicks hate communism so much, but you might be saying to me, Enigma Hood, wait a minute. I mean, you're saying all these things about communism not being that bad, or socialism not being that bad. Wait a minute, I come from Poland, and, like, the communists really fucked us over, and they took away all of our property and shit, it wasn't fair, and I hate them for that. I totally understand. I mean, the people who actually were victimized by communism, they live out in Eastern Europe. And then when they come to America, they hate communism so much because they actually were victimized by it. So that when they come here, unfortunately, since they have all these negative connotations associated with that way of thinking, they want to go the exact opposite direction. And that's why a lot of Eastern Europeans, when they come to America, are conservative and ally themselves with the Republican Party. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example, He came from a country that was victimized by communism. Comes from Austria. You can't blame, like, I don't want to say I can't blame him. I can blame him for being a Republican. But this explains it. So that's why, and it's unfortunate. I understand that you came from those countries that were victimized by communism. However, you have to understand in your little brains that America is not like that. We need to think more liberally because the conservative way of thinking is destroying us. You don't have to worry about communists taking all your shit. That's not how it works in America. But unfortunately, that's the way they think because they came from these countries. So, what about Vietnam? You're going to be saying, wait a minute, Enigma, so if that's what communism and socialism is, I mean, what the fuck did we go, why the fuck did we go to Vietnam and rape and kill everybody over there over this bullshit? And the answer is, yeah, it's bullshit. That was fucking bullshit. We went to Vietnam for what purpose? Because back in those days, they were so fucking afraid of communism coming to America. And so they wanted to contain communism. They had this ideology of containment. And in their warped, stupid, fucking inbred heads, they thought that this was good enough reason to go to Vietnam and rape and kill everyone. That was it. The main thing that precipitated the whole events was the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which basically they said, hey, the North Vietnamese... Well, first of all, you know, okay, let me first finish that thought. The North Vietnamese came and they took their navy and they engaged American naval vessels in the Gulf of Tonkin, which turns out to be, there might have been one incident that was true, but the second incident was completely fabricated. And they used these two supposed incidents to justify going to Vietnam and killing everyone. Now, you're going to be first saying, wait a minute, what the fuck, Vietnam? How did Vietnam become communist in the first place? What's going on with Vietnam? Let me tell you, dumb fucks. After World War II, of course, the Allies won, and the Soviet Union was putting itself off as the big winner, even though actually the greatest amount of casualties that occurred during World War II were inflicted upon the Soviet Union. They took by far the most amount of casualties. But they gave this impression that they were the big winners, and our model of government, communism, was really what made us win. So a lot of Asian countries which were fooled by this disinformation thought that, you know, if we become communist, then we can rise above and become powerful too. Now in Vietnam, they were colonized by the hated French. These French motherfuckers colonized them. And they wanted them out, okay? They wanted these motherfuckers out, which is completely understandable, and they should have been supported 100% in getting rid of the French. There were two groups, of course. You know, there was the North Vietnamese that was communist, and this was by far, you know, the most powerful and most capable one of getting rid of these French motherfucking colonist motherfuckers. So they engaged the French in the First Indochina War, and they drove their motherfucking asses back to France where they belong. Oh jeez, my cell phone is going off. I'm in the middle of something fucking important. Alright, where was I? Okay, so the North Vietnamese, which was communist, they were able to drive these French motherfuckers out. But America, they didn't see this as an effort to get rid of these imperialist dogs. They saw it as an effort to reinforce communism and spread communism. Even though it had nothing to fucking do with that, they just wanted their fucking country back. So the Americans were supporting the French during the First Indochina War, and lending weapons and equipment to the South Vietnamese government, which was allied to Americans and was democratic. Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. So, even though it was about colonialism, America only saw it as a communist issue. So that's why they went there and engaged them, even though the Vietnamese just wanted their fucking country back. And that brings up the other more important thing. The HICKS, the inbred HICKS, they keep on saying how bad the communists were and how they killed so many people. Guess who killed more people? The colonists. Colonialism killed much more people. It resulted in the genocide of the Native Americans in North and South America. It resulted in the genocide of the Aborigines that lived in Australia. It resulted in more deaths than the communists. By far, it killed more human beings than any other force. Colonialism is what is truly evil and despicable and wrong.